Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Dondi DeVarreaux Show. I am your girl, Val DeVarreaux.
Hi, and I'm Prince Dondi, and I'm glad to be here.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. On today's episode, our topic for discussion is, tell them, Dondi.
What happens when you outgrow your mate?
Or they outgrow you.
Oh, yeah.
Either or.
Yeah, that's going to be a very hectic situation, I assure you that, for sure.
Let's tell the people about the story about the lady who, took this young man in and cultivated him and everything.
Oh, yeah. Now, let me tell you, everybody's going to have a definitely a different opinion about this situation, but, we want to hear your views on it. It was this young lady. She was dealing with this guy. And this guy wasn't, at his best, and he didn't have a job, okay? He didn't have a job, but he was willing to have a job, but it was kind of hard for him to get a job, and he didn't know the moves to make. And the young lady, she was pretty much working in the corporate world, so she pretty much liked the guy, and they were dating, and she says, well, let me help you out. He says, most definitely, please help me out. Everybody tell me they're going to help me out, they're not. So he was sleeping with her, they were sex buddies. Finally, they became boyfriend and girlfriend. She liked him. So she filled his application out and put him in a position. She got him a position with a company like, the transit authorities, in the city in which they were in. And he got the job. He started sweeping floors and things at first. Then he moved up and he got a manager position and became a supervisor. And during the course of this, he met this other young lady. And the other young lady was higher up in the financial world, trades and things of that nature. And he met her and they started liking each other. He started talking to her a little bit, one word to another. So he moved up and time went on shortly. He moved up in a short period of time. And he got really up there. So he really started showing his, feelings towards the lady in the financial world, doing her thing. And his woman, they start seeing her less and less. And she found out, she heard it through the grapevine. You always hear it through the grapevine. That's how it always goes. And she heard it through the grapevine. He was seeing someone else. But she didn't confront him about it because he started coming over to her house less and less and less. Got his own apartment, got his own car, got his thing, doing his own thing. So finally, he was going to dinner one night with this lady in the financial world. And the woman which filled his application out and helped him out and everything at first, his first girlfriend, she found out about it. And so she decided to show up at the exquisite restaurant in which they were having dinner. Well, she shows up and sits her chair right there at their table. And she figures that I'm going to confront him, I'm going to bust his game out. And I guess that's what she figures she was going to do, I'm going to bust his game out. Yeah. So she comes out there and busts his game out, she thought. And she says to him, look, this is wrong of you. I did this, that, and the other for you, this, that, and the other. And he calmly, he didn't lose his composure. The young lady he was with, his financial world, she was sitting there as well. She was calm. And even asked his friend, she's asked if she wants something to drink or is she going to join them for dinner or whatever. So she was so worked up. She was like, no, I just want to read them and let you know what dirty dog you got and this, that, and the other. So she gets to tell her all the things she did for him. And he sits there and quietly didn't even comment on the situation until she was done. And he said to her, he says, I thank you so much for all the things you've done for me. And I appreciate them from the bottom of my heart. I really, really, really do. But I want to tell you that I'm not the man that I used to be. But I helped you when you didn't have anything. He says, I understand all of that. And my heart goes out to you. And I always love you and care about you for doing that for me. I thank you. But I'm not the man that I used to be. So she goes into a thing. You don't feel sorry. I feel definitely sorry of the situation the way it is right now. But I'm not the man that I used to be. I desire bigger and better things. But you didn't desire anything at first. He said, I've always desired them. I just didn't know how to get them. And when you opened the door up and showed me how to get them, I found things that was unreachable at first in my mind. But now I see that they're obtainable. Even through the young lady now, which I'm talking to. I feel like she's taking me to better places than what you took. Oh, she's showing me better things. And I'm happy for that.
And you know what I would have did? They was at the restaurant, right?
Yeah, the restaurant.
Got that butter knife and stabbed him in the neck.
Well, see, that's the initial.
I'm sorry.
That's the initial.
I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm not promoting
But see,
violence.
we have to see because.
But in my
what
mind,
we have a thing of self-pride, dignity, and we have anger in us. People, we do. And I can't tell you what I would do in that situation because that situation was taken easy. But he was calm. He didn't lose composure. He didn't do any of that. He just kept saying, "But I'm not the man I used to be." He says, "I'll pay you back." I'll pay you back double from what you've done for me. Whatever I've gotten from you, I'm able now. I'll pay you double. But I just want a better life. I want the better life in what you're doing, right? I want a better life. And the other woman didn't even interfere, not one word. She didn't say anything.
and as well, she
didn't say anything.
That wasn't her issue.
She didn't agree either one way or another.
Yeah, that wasn't her problem.
Right, and he sat there and he says, "Look," he said, "well, if you want to join us for dinner, I'm paying for dinner tonight." And the other young lady jumped up.
Totally.
And she got up and she says, you're nothing. You're a bum. You're still a bum, and you're a loser. He says, "Hold on, hold on a second. I understand where you're coming from in your anger, but a bum is something that I'm not, and I am going places in life, but I'm just not the same man that I used to be."
You know what? I just feel like that's so selfish of him because when he started growing and evolving, so to speak, he knew then that she was no longer enough for him. I feel like his ass was selfish. He wanted his cake and eat it too. She was his security blanket because she did all that for him. She provided everything for him. But now I've made it. I'm going places. I'm doing big things. Now I want this life, but I want to keep that security blanket just in case I fall.
No, he didn't want to keep her.
He was still with her though, right?
He was with her, and the thing was about it. For his breakdown, he had distanced himself from her.
But you should have broke up with her.
Listen, let me explain this to you.
That's my problem with it. Break up with the woman.
I want to say, like she said, he used to come over our house all the time, and he had very seldom started seeing her. He started seeing her very seldom. And she heard, "Why isn't he coming to see me?" He says, "I'm working, I'm busy." He says, "I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk." And she just jumped up and came at it like that. But however that matter is, and I must say this, it's not because it's a man, because it's a woman, I accept it the same way. I have to understand this, and this is real. Now, no matter how we look at it, you understand what I'm saying? Because we understand hurt. Everybody understands hurt, and you've ever been in any type of relationship, be it your fault or the next person's fault. But we have to understand exactly what true is true. Look, first of all of us now, whether you want to admit it or not, all of us have faced that problem before. Now, whether you handle it like that or not is a different situation. There are so many of us right now are in relationships that you just want to get the hell out, and you've outgrown your mate. So our problem is, we were talking, and I want to sidetrack it for one moment, about families and how people, die in our families or in a position is that we don't want this person to leave because of ourselves. And you were saying this, because our selfishness. Mm-hmm. See, we have a thing called selfishness. But see, these are the things that separates the growing from the person who's stagnated.
Right.
And I want to say that. When you're growing, you have no time for the mess. You understand? And even though it may be a big mess, you just say, you keep on riding. So have you ever, I know all of you have had this problem before. Have you ever been in a relationship and somebody's talking to you about something really serious, but you've outgrown this individual? So all the malarkey they're talking is going one ear right out the other, but you don't wish that person no ill feelings. You feel like, hey, whatever you said, my mind is already made up.
Right.
Because I have to make bigger steps. When you get through talking, it's going to be only one thing that matters to me, that you hit the dough, period. Now, she could have gotten there, showed her behind and all that, and then at the end of the night, she would have had her ass in jail. That's real talk. She would have been locked up for assault and battery and carrying on. Yeah, and acting a fool and feeling bad about it and going back later and says, I should have left that alone. And then that's what would have happened. But I do understand what it's like when you're being held down by a pregnant elephant on the back of a rhino, when it's time for you to lift that thing up and be gone. See, sometimes we cannot progress in our lives unless we step up, no matter how it comes, whether it comes raggedy, crazy, good or bad, whether we put in our minds, we're going to leave that situation alone. You understand? That's like a person who's an alcoholic, drug addict, or whatever. They make it up in their minds, spirits, bodies, and souls. I have a friend of mine who is a drug addict, and he just talked to me yesterday. A great friend of mine, I've been known for many years. And he says, man, I was in that position. He says, you know how I got by it? One day at a time. He said, I started shutting off all my friends that was associated. I stopped going to the places where I used to go to. I stopped going to these things, doing those things where I knew to make me feel good. He said, even in the memory of smoking cigarettes, and he was a smoker, he smoked cigarettes. And he said cigarette smoking made him think about getting high. He said, so I took my pack of cigarettes one day, I was riding in the car, and I threw them out. He said he loved to smoke. He says, and then I got to the point where that other things I liked so much, I started, getting rid of those things. Now, I'll add this and say this to you all. It's easy to tell anybody else no. It's easy to denounce a person and to refuse a person. But I tell you, the hardest thing in the world to do is to denounce yourself or to refuse yourself. Because, hey, he can go without it, but I can't. I'm able to do it, and I'm going to do it. So a relationship is the same way. If you put yourself, now, be a man, woman, be a man or woman, either his way or her way, I agree. If she did this, I'm sure women do it as well. They move up. Mm-hmm. Either you move up, you move out, or you move out of the way. You see what I'm saying? So you're not going to up, down, out of the way. That's how it's up, down, out of the way. You're not going to stay in the same position. When they say, how's Johnny doing? Oh, he's doing the same. You're never doing the same.
Yeah, because people and life is constantly evolving.
Exactly.
Constantly.
So if this guy acts constantly staying with this young lady, even though she was a person who helped him at the level, look, we are all put here for a reason. And that may have been just the reason to put him on the right track. And after she put him on a track, he liked her. And that's the thing we do as humans, to be selfish. I'm going to stay here and make love to her. But the heart isn't in it. Yeah. The heart isn't in it. In your mind, listen to this. The mind once stretched will never go back to the ways in which it was. Now, man or woman, right now, you've been in a relationship and been with a person. Now, they may have been out of your league even, or been in your league, and they've been out of your league, and you went out with them at one time. And when you go out with that person at one time, you realize one thing for sure. You said, whoa, they showing me something. Man, I've never seen it. I've never experienced this the way they bring it to me.
Right.
And when they bring it to you, you go back to your life, and it just was just a date. And that person don't want to date you no more. But you be thinking, man, I want more what they're giving me. But they don't want to date you anymore.
So you go back to your life. Now your life is not the same.
And when you go back to your life again, and you dealing with your friends, whoever you're dealing with, you say to yourself when you have a moment of peace, man, that was amazing.
Right.
Because your mind is, and even when your friend begins to tell you things of doing or want to go places, you think to yourself, man, it wasn't like that. So it's hard to go back into, see, a frog in a well cannot tell you the vastness of the world. He can't, because he's in that well. He can't tell you, but once that frog get up out of that well, he's in a big old pond. Wow, look how wide it is. That well is just narrow. He can't tell you the vastness of the world once he's in that well. So being in life is truly a journey. It is not a destination.
I agree.
It's a destination.
We always say that.
It is true. It is true. Life is a journey. And think that it's not. You see how many people that's growing, how many people are dying, how many people are coming up, how many people, and it's amazing. And people you least expect be what, shoot past over here, or do this or do that. And you're like, wow, because it's a journey. This is a journey. Life is a journey. And had he stayed in that position, he's going to keep on getting the same thing he was getting.
See, that goes back to what I always say. I always tell you, people come into your life for what? A reason. A season. Or a lifetime.
There it is.
And that was she was there for a reason.
She was there for a reason. And the thing about it is that I wish him well on his journey now. I hear he's doing spectacular. But the thing about it is that he's still with the other lady who showed him that way, because they were of the same. Sometimes a person who's not of what you are about puts you on the track. Have you ever had a friend that puts you with someone that you least expect? A partner. Hey, this person may be able to help you on this, and it's something new. And that person helps you with that something new. Now, next to you, and say, "Wow, this person helped me with this," and they become a better friend to you than the person who introduced you to this person as becoming their friend. And this is such as life. This is such as life.
Absolutely.
So if we keep our minds, and this is hard, it's more easier said than done. I agree that if so happen we keep our minds on one particular track, then we have blinders on our eyes like a horse running in a race. That horse put them blind. They take the horse off, the blinders off the horse once he's out of the race, because he must see the world is bigger than just a race. He's got to graze. He's got to move around. He's got to mate. He's got to do a lot of things other than just that race. You see, and by this guy dealing with it, and a woman as well, when you at the point where you outgrown your mate, you know, I know it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to leave. Sometimes it's hard to leave the common, something that you're used to.
Yeah, you comfortable.
Yeah,
with.
Comfortable with it.
Absolutely.
You know, you complacent. You complacent. And the thing about it is that we find ourselves in life. We do, all of us. We find ourselves sometimes. Oh, I'll just do it because I'm used to it. I'm just used to this. You know, you find some women that's
people
with
have
a guy.
A comfort zone.
Yeah, a comfort zone.
Yeah,
so
they fear the unknown.
That's true.
They don't want to try nothing.
You find a lot of women, and I say women more so than men, because women are more, you know, oh, I'm not going to do this, or I'm more afraid when it comes to venturing out in relationships. For some reason, they should be. You'll find a woman sometimes, ex-girlfriends or something, that'll call you up. You know, you 5, 6, 7, 8 months, 10 months out of a relationship. But they'll call you up and ask you what you're doing. And you be like, I'm doing this or that. Where you go? Then they say, well, let me come over for a drink. Or you will say, come on over for a drink. And before you know it, you all are in the bed making love. Now, let me explain something to you about that situation. It's not that she want to be with you like that. It's that she's comfortable. She's trying to take care of a personal need.
Right,
she's familiar.
At that time.
And she's taking care of a personal need where she's horny. And she feels like, oh, I trust him, though. I've been with him before. So I'll trust that. Guys usually try to find and hunt for a new piece. But women have this thing of comfortability. Right. They want to be comfortable with it. And that's something that women, that's their thing. You know, I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad, but it's something in which they basically run back to the comfortability of the situation. Saying that is to say this is that, let me explain something to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know one thing for a sure fact. This is one life. This is your one life that we know of. You know, I don't know what your spiritual religion or whatever is. And, you know, you say an afterlife or whatever, but it's the life in which we know about right now. And I tell you this one thing for sure. This is the only life you're going to have. So if you don't make yourself happy, you won't be happy. Do you understand that? It's not a person that make you happy. It's not a person that make you happy. No one makes you happy. You make yourself happy. But if you don't make yourself happy in this life and time, you won't be happy. And if that calls for you to make another person unhappy, so be it.
Absolutely.
So be it.
Absolutely.
You know, we find all kinds of things to find out, well, we're going to stay there. I'm going to stay there because she's insecure. I don't want to break her heart because she's this, that. That's her problem.
Exactly.
I want you to know that.
Not yours.
That's not your problem.
Yeah.
It's not your problem. They're insecure. They got, what do you call this, in deficit or whatever. Or they have these problems. Or they got all. That's their problem. They got that. And I'll tell you one thing for a sure fact. A lot of men's problem, men and women problem, they bring that on themselves.
I agree.
They bring that on themselves. And it's just not. And you find out about it when you get into the relationship of it. But it's way before you.
Way before
it's
you.
Way before you. So I ask you,
I
plead with you, I summons you not to put yourself stronghold in their problem. Stand up. Believe in yourself, and that way you will know one thing for a sure fact. Hey, that doesn't include me.
And always make yourself first a priority.
Always.
What I always say, don't make a person a priority that treats you like a convenience.
But that's so true. That's so. And then, but the thing about it is that the sad eyes, the crying. No, you know you don't love me. Well, maybe they don't love you, and it's okay. I want you to know, it's okay to have said you love someone and don't love them for real. Because love, if you look at what love is, it's an amazing thing. And I'll tell you this. Like I said, I don't know what your reality, what your religion belief is, or whatever. But it tells you all these things. What love is in the Bible. It tells you what love is not envious, love is not jealous, love don't keep a record of wrongs. Now we keep a record of all the time you done this stuff. We do all this. I remember last time you said
it does all of that.
So that is not love. But don't just take it from my word. Check it out yourself. What love actually is. Well, I love my kid. Well, that's a different type of love. You understand? I love my kid unconditionally. Yeah, some of you got kids. Let me get honest with you. Some of you got some kids, you hate them little bastards. Really. I mean, you can't stand them. Them bastards wasn't your kid. You would throw their ass out a long time ago. That's honest. But you have a duty to do this with this child.
You got an obligation.
You got an obligation duty. But my point is that don't let a relationship, don't let a relationship stagnate you for whatever you're doing. Don't let that relationship stagnate. Because once you let that relationship stagnate you, now you're beat. You're beat mentally, physically, and you get beat financially.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't want that. Because life is short, baby. Life is short. And I'm going to tell you about many reasons it's happening in my personal life, but we don't get into that.
Right.
You know, in her personal life, we won't get into that. We don't get into the personal. But I'm saying in general, if we get into those things and things that stagnate us or hurting us deep inside, then we're dealing with everything else. We have to realize one thing for a sure fact in our life. If a relationship is just a part of your life, the relationship is not all of your life. It's your entire life.
And that's where people really make their mistake.
You want this person
they become
everything
consumed.
No, don't get consumed with a relationship.
That's just a little small part of it right there.
No, don't get. Look, if you're married, if you're married, you must have some time of your own. Now, if you don't have time of your own, you're married. Whatever she does, her breathing just affects me. Hold on, man. You said God was wrong. He invented you when he created you. Because the fact of the matter is that every man is. Let me go get my better half. What? I hear guys say that, and I'll stop you immediately. You are your better half. I got my own wife. Hold on a second. She could be the next man's better half in 10 minutes from now if you lay it down right.
Absolutely.
You understand? She could be the next, the best thing about life if another woman lay it down right. So my point to you is that you are your better half. If you don't love you, nobody's gonna love you, and you have to act like you love you. See, that's one thing we don't do either. We don't act like we love ourselves. So we outgrow a self that which we once knew. We like, oh, why did I do that? How did that? It happened because you outgrew that. You know, when you were a child, you did childish things. You rode your bicycle, you laughed, you went to get popsicles, you go to the candy store, you do all those. When you get grown, you go get a job. You drive your car to the store. You know, you talk differently, you walk differently, you do things different when you're an adult. But if you stay in the same position, that lets you know you're not growing. And relationships, same way. Same way. Sometimes you got to outgrow a relationship. No matter what, I'm not saying whatever age you are. It doesn't matter whether you're 8 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy. Relationships, when you get into a relationship, a man or a woman, you might outgrow that relationship.
Yeah.
Some relationships you may not outgrow. Sometimes they grow with you.
Right.
Some grow with you. But when you outgrow that relationship,
be strong enough to move on.
What do you do? What do you do?
The only problem I had with that dude was he could have just been honest and upfront with her when he started feeling that way and let her go.
I don't have a problem with him.
That's the problem I have with him.
No, I don't.
Other than that, I'm not saying he's wrong for the way he feels, but he should have given her the common respect. Just the common respect of being somebody that you were involved with. This is somebody who you were sleeping with. She helped you. You know, she did a lot for him. Mm-hmm. So he could have gave her the common respect as a human being, as a woman that, you know, he was involved with intimately, and just let her know, baby, you know, my feelings are changing, and, you know, I don't feel the way I used to feel about you.
Okay. Now,
so I think it's best that, you know, we just go our separate ways. But like I said, I do believe he wanted to keep stringing her along to have her as a security blanket. I really do. I really do. That's why he didn't let her go. What other reason do you have for holding on to her?
Let me tell you why.
If you're not that same man.
I've had those type of situations also, and let me tell you something. Women, you all are going to definitely agree with what I'm saying right now, because I know you women have dealt with this. See, men don't want to come out strongly and tell you. See, women say, oh, I want to move because he's a stark raving fool. Let me tell you something. Sometimes you can't just break up with a woman like that, because she will wreak havoc on your life. And I'm telling you something, sometimes it can be worse than anything you can possibly imagine. See, we know men, oh, he's big, he'll break her neck, or he'll kill her, all the kids, he'll break in the house. Yeah, but women are the same type of creatures as well. They just have less physical strength. So why he didn't do it, you know, only him and her know that. I don't think he strung her along because he didn't need her financially. I don't think he needed sex.
He didn't break it off with her.
Well, actually,
when I'm done with somebody, I'm done.
Well, no.
I'm not going to leave him hanging.
Wait,
you know, he left her hanging.
That's my point. I'm looking at all levels, because you never know what type of individual that was. When you say you're done with a person, there are some guys that you will deal with out here in this world, and you ladies know, you will not just go in here and say, look, Johnny,
you know,
I'm done with that situation, and we're through, and I'm walking out. You'll never walk. You'll never walk again. You'll never walk again. So my point is that don't think, I don't, like I said, I don't know the inner relation, but, you know, he was bold enough right then and there when they were eating to outright tell you, hey, I'm not that man no more. So I understand maybe he needed that other woman to be there with him while he
for
had
some
that
extra
shit.
courage.
Maybe, and that's okay because some
he
people
was a punk.
No, I don't believe that.
I do.
No.
People, that's my opinion. Okay,
I'm just saying that
I feel like a real man. When he felt differently about her, he should have came to her.
That's what I'm saying.
And just let her know. He left that woman hanging.
He may not
he distanced himself, but he's still going over there sneaking in.
I don't think so.
And he messing with her here and there. I'm sure he was.
I feel like
totally
this.
sure he was.
I'm thinking this.
He was going back hidden when he was bored. When he couldn't get that one, he was going over there getting this one. He was still messing with that woman. She wouldn't have been so passionate about it if he wasn't still messing with her.
That might be a possibility.
If he wasn't still messing with her, she wouldn't have been so angry.
Well, let me explain something.
She angry because she felt used.
No, let me explain this to you. She felt, it wasn't just that she was being used sexually then. She felt used because he had grown so well. Because he had blossomed so well.
Because it was because of her.
No, he had blossomed so well. That's at first it was because of her putting him in position. But it initially took his ingenuity. It took his skill. It took his game to bring him to the levels in which he worked it. Now, she helped him with the application. She helped him get that job. But there's a whole bunch of people that have gotten that job possibly he got now and had the application filled out, but didn't grow like he grew. Now, sometimes everybody has a reason for whatever they do. Don't get me wrong. It's a reason for everything you do. And I would say, I'm saying this in defense. I'm not saying I don't know. There's a reason. He didn't break out the place and leave. Come on, baby, let's go. Take the other woman and leave. I don't want to deal with this. No. He sat down calmly and broke the game down. This is what
that's because he thought he was Superman because he had that other broad there.
I don't
think he was trying to show out in front of her.
No, let me tell you something.
He was. This is just my opinion.
That's her opinion. But
that's how I feel. This woman gave you courage. You trying to show out in front of her.
I don't think she gave you
I believe the moment that she left and they were alone, I believe his ass called her, trying to beg his way back.
No, he never came back. Actually,
he called her.
She said he never attempted to contact her in no kind of shape, form, or fashion. All his things were gone. She said she had no reason to come over there. So my thing is,
he sound like a punk.
I said no. I said no. It depends on the class of people and what you deal with. No, because that's like saying my point. I go back to again.
Where is the loyalty here?
Wait, listen to what I'm saying. You got to understand life and the ways it moves. That's like a female. You find some women that deal with a guy and she come over and get all her clothes out of there. Start moving out. So she never told him. He would come and meet her at a wherever they are at a what do you call that, a festival or something. She's walking with the other guy. Why do you tell me? You a punk. You could have told me face to face. Well, actually, in reality, she knew. You wouldn't be able to tell you. See, look, there's a time for everything. There's a time and season for everything. That wasn't the right time. You understand? But it was the right time to tell her what actually was on his mind, spirit, body, and soul. Now, I don't think that woman's a coward because she didn't tell this guy, oh, well, I'm leaving you, Johnny, and all my clothes are here, and I'll come and see you every. It was because, first of all, sometimes you gonna know this. In a relationship, you can't just walk out of a certain relationship. You got to tip out. Now, if you're caught when you get inside to Uber, it's okay because you got a driver to take off. Now, I'm not saying that he was wrong for it because the fact of the matter is I don't know the ins and outs of the situation. But like she said, he never came back to her. He never said anything else after. But he still offered, hey, I'll pay you back if so happen you want it. But her pride, dignity,
I'd been like,
things
run
like
me
that.
My coins
her pride and dignity said, no, you go ahead. And she says this one
what I
thing.
want. Right on
that
one.
I'm saying, well, that's your opinion. But some people say, like she said, oh, he'll get it back in karma. I don't believe he'll ever get in karma from that. I don't. Because the fact of the matter is, that's everyone who wants to get out of a relationship, now we have to deal with karma because we want to be different. Because now today we saw it, a different light on the situation. I must admit, I'm going to tell you a situation. You out here know who I'm talking about. I'm going to tell it. I'm going to tell it. I'm not going to bring no names in it to protect the innocent. Many years ago, I met this young lady. And she was a very beautiful young lady. I saw her. I pushed up on her. I talked to her. I said, how you doing? Do you have a boyfriend? She says, I have someone, but I'm looking for better. She says, I'm looking for better.
That was honest.
She told me she had a boyfriend at the time. At the time, I didn't have a girlfriend. I said, wow. I said, nice, whatever. Let's go to dinner. We went woke up that morning. Next morning, I called her up, and I couldn't wait to call her. I called her. We went to breakfast, and we hung out for lunch. And I'm like, man, where's your boyfriend at? Blowing the horn up, blowing the phone up. It's about to explode. I'm busy. I'm doing something. I'm busy. But she was talking to me, and we did things and hung out and really enjoyed each other. Great relationship. We became a very splendid relationship. And I asked her about a month or two what happened in the relationship. So, I outgrew that relationship, and I had to get away from that relationship. Now, the thing about it is that I never indulged in why, and this, but she said I knew I had to get away from that relationship. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So she says, you saved me from that relationship. Now, I don't know, but I knew she said she wasn't married, but she was in a relationship. But I do know that she started seeing me more and more early morning, and she started spending the night, and it was more and more and more that she got out of that relationship. Now, whether she wanted to really actually be with me, but I think it was maybe she did want to be with me. Of course, she wouldn't want to be.
I'm just really,
But,
you know me, Dondi. I'm really big on honesty and transparency.
Yeah.
I just totally believe in that. I really can't respect a person who does not, tell the truth. I can't respect a person who is not. I respect what she said to you.
Yeah.
I do have somebody, but I'm looking for better.
Exactly.
That is very honest.
Exactly.
You will not find that.
Yeah.
These ninjas will be married, and swear to God, you could see the ring around their finger where the wedding band was. And they will swear to God, we met at the right time. I ain't got nobody.
In defense, and I'm telling you something. It angers me as well when I see guys do that. When women do that. In defense of men and women, let me tell you this, and this is real. I've experienced this. I've seen this. I've seen men tell women, "I'm married, but we can't mess around for a minute." I've seen women tell guys, "I'm married, we can't mess around for a bit." I've seen this. And
a guy told me that last time we went to the cigar bar.
Yeah.
He came over, he said, I really dig you, but I'm married, but that don't matter to me if it don't matter to you. I said, it totally matters to me.
You have
what the hell I want with you?
No, but those are your morals. But so many others really would have taken that chance. Well, okay, well, we just messing around, ain't no big deal.
I don't want nobody's scraps.
That's your opinion.
That's my opinion. That's all that matters to me.
But my point is that we must, in order, I was once told, walk into a room and think like everybody in the room thinking, anything is possible. And that's so true because you just like everybody in the room is thinking you got 5 people in there, anything is possible because they got the craziest thoughts in the world going on with 5 people inside the room. Mm-hmm. So my point is that we have to understand that everybody's going to do it differently. Everybody's going to do it differently. You could be in a relationship. I had a buddy of mine who was with this woman, and he was with the woman for 3 years. And he thought everything was going groovy with them. He came home from work one day. He said every bit of her clothing was gone. Every bit of her clothing was gone. Mm-hmm. And she wrote a small letter, please don't try to contact me.
Oh, wow.
I'm through with this relationship. Now.
He had no warning signs?
No, he says, man, listen, he said, man, here's what he tells me. He said, the morning that she left, the day that she left, he said, we made love crazy that morning before I got up and got ready.
Oh, that was her last shot for
But my point is that he says, I said, well, that's what she was giving you last shot. He said, but here's the kicker. He said,
girl.
We would do this all the time. There's many mornings I get up and she make love to me. And I go on about my day and she go about her day and we come on back and have a great relationship. But my point is, for some reason, and it troubled him for a minute. I know that, he was talking, he was drinking and talking about it. And a couple years had passed. And he hadn't heard from her. I said, wow, she didn't even call you 3 years. But it startled me. But my point is, a lot of people that it would. But no one knows what was in her mind, spirit, body, or soul. She had outgrown that relationship for some reason. She didn't want to be there anymore. Now, as him, as a person in which I've known and I've seen them together, he wasn't an abusive person physically towards her. And when he would sit down with her,
probably just didn't fulfill what she needed.
Maybe not. But my point is, let me ask you all this. On that note, I'm sure, he was telling me about things he's gotten with her and he got a new car for her and he done these things for her. But does that make her a coward? Does that make her a liar?
I don't think so.
Okay, now, listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're saying. Now this guy, on this other token, he comes in, but yet still, you saying she jumps up and takes everything and gone. Now that'll make but my point. Wait, no,
he did not break off with her.
What I'm saying,
she told him in her letter.
Right.
What she said.
Don't contact me.
Right. So you know from that it's done.
Wait. So what I'm saying to you is that
all he had to do was tell that woman who helped him.
That's what I'm saying. My point.
I'm
like
done
I said,
with you.
Like I said in the beginning, she had heard it through the grapevine. He's going out with this woman.
But he didn't tell her. He didn't man up.
But my point, no.
He did not man up and tell her, look, I want somebody else. You don't do it for me no more.
No.
I'm telling you, I'm big on transparency. I don't have no respect for you if you can't be honest.
He may have planned it 2, 3, 4, 5 days after they had eaten dinner. Maybe that was their dinner. We said, man, look here, I'm going to go ahead and tell her what it is. Maybe that may have been the room. But as it was presented, because some things happen to us, we're forced into it right then and there. So now you got to go for your own. You got to go for broke right then and there. So we don't know. We really don't know. Was he prepared to, he had gotten away from, eventually we do know one thing that we do know. Regardless of all things we do, we knew one thing for sure, he was going to leave that woman. You understand?
I just feel like he should have
left. But maybe, at that moment when she showed up,
I'm not waste anybody's time. That woman loved him. Well, she was sitting there. He hurt her because she was sitting there, missing him, wondering what's going on. Things ain't like it used to be. Okay, he ain't spending time with me.
Listen to this. You missed the other point. The guy who woman left him after those 3 years, you think he wasn't sitting there missing her? Playing songs and baby, what happened? What did I do? I don't know what happened. I can't figure it out.
The difference in the two situations, he didn't make that woman.
No,
she made that ninja.
No, hold on now. He said he bought her cars and he helped out.
That's a gift.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. No, let's get fair.
And nobody put no gun on him and tell him to do that.
Let's get fair.
He did what he wanted to do, didn't he?
What that woman did for that man, it was a gift. I mean, honestly, no matter how you look at it. I mean, no, wait, hold it. Let's.
I feel like what she did was a long-term investment.
I think that you.
And I feel like at the bare minimum, she was due the respect.
I think that what you're doing.
Of telling her.
No, what you're doing,
I'm done.
No, what you're doing is you're putting pride out there. Let's take that off the table, ladies and gentlemen.
Ain't no pride.
No, you putting pride. No,
it's about respect.
No, hold on, wait.
That's just how I feel. It's about respect to me.
You're putting pride out there because you saying one way, they doing the same thing, but she outright cut it off. You saying that, okay, she wasn't wrong for that. But yes, he was wrong for that because she came up to the meal where he was meeting this other woman.
Your friend did not invest in that woman and cultivate that woman and help her grow.
Listen now.
He bought her some stuff because he wanted to buy her some stuff.
Listen. And 3 years, a person's living with you. 3 years. Now, let's think about it. 3 years, and he's making a great salary. And I'm sure he's pretty much was comfortable at his salary. He was making way more than she was. So let's face it. Let's be honest. And he's a generous man. I'm more than sure that he's cultivated. He took care of her in a lot of situations. She wasn't paying the mortgage on the place they were living. They were living lavishly. Let's add that now. All these things. And new car. He didn't just go buy her a Chevy pickup. A no little bitty small thing. You see what I'm saying? He went and paid that paper on something big. But my point to you is that let's take our self-pride out of the situation and think about it. See, when you feel like you're fed up, it don't have to be verified by nobody. When you say, I'm ready to go home, you say, I'm ready to go home, and you sitting up, you got your car parked outside, everybody else has got their car parked outside, and you got to wait for a ride, then you got to sit down and wait while this person drink and talk with. But when you ready to go, you say, look, I'm out of here, I'm gone.
Right.
And that's the same way about a relationship. We have to understand and take the pride, dignity, take all that off the table. Because sometimes when you're ready to go, you're ready to go. And no matter what nobody say, it could be in the heat of the beginning of it. But when you're ready to go, you're ready to go. So what happens? What happens when you outgrown that person? A person could be talking, and you know yourself, in a relationship, a person could be talking in the relationship, and just this one time, you wake up this one day, I don't want to be with that person. Are you wrong?
No.
Well, I mean, hold on. Now, you all got years invested. But this person, you're through. This the straw to break the pop. It pops the camel spine bone. But you're ready to go. So are you wrong, though? Are you wrong? Are you wrong? wrong?
I don't think you're wrong.
Wait,
I think you have to be true to yourself.
Let's give another scenario.
You got to be true to yourself.
You know, let's give another scenario. I had a friend of mine who went to Vegas, and they were dealing together. 5 years they stayed together. 5 years. The man loved the woman. She's a great girl, great people. I know them both. In love with the girl. And I asked, I said, do you love him? Yeah, I love him. Cool. So they together. And we're going to town this weekend. We're going to have a great time. Went to Vegas. Went and had a big old meal. And she said when she got there in Vegas, this is something here that blows my mind. I had to talk to her for a long time after this here situation. She said they got to Vegas. And matter of fact, you know the couple. You know the people. Matter of fact, you know one of the friends that you not too familiar with. I mean, you're not too friendly about the situation. But his friend, I'm not going to tell you all I hear who it is, but his friend showed up. And they took him up there, and 75 people, 10 people from Chicago, but they had family living in Vegas, and they all came up there to the dinner. And she's like, oh, that's everybody around. And this is going down. And 5 years into the relationship. They're living together now. Everything is groovy, like a movie. And in the middle of the dinner was over, he breaks down on one knee, popped that ring out, and said, baby, I know we've been together 5 years. I love you. Shed a tear like his friend did. You know what I'm talking about. Now, shed a tear and cried in front of everybody and said, baby, will you marry me?
What'd she say?
She took a deep breath and swallowed and says, no, I will not. Boom! True story.
In front of 75
In
people?
front of 75 people. Hey, now. You know the people.
I bet you he was
I'm going to refresh your memory in a minute. But, yeah, we take a commercial break, but not right now. But anyway, listen.
I'm sure his soul was just...
He was on the floor. She says to me, when he grabbed her hand, he said, well, it was a strong guy. It works out.
I know.
He grabbed her hand and sneaked up to the wrist bone and whispered, girl, don't embarrass me like that. True story now. True story.
Oh, poor thing.
Now listen to me. Now listen. He done flown down to Vegas.
You know what? I would have just melted.
His mom and daddy,
just been a puddle of water.
His daddy, his brothers, his stepfather.
How embarrassing.
They were there. And they said when he pushed up on her wrist, he tightened up on her wrist.
They were scared as hell. He was going to break that damn arm.
She says that his brother reached over there and grabbed him by the shoulder. Come on, man, get up off your knee.
Because his brother know he's going to break her damn arm.
He said he looked over and said, get off me. And his other brother came over, come on, man. Yeah, his other brother said, she was glad to see the other brother walk over and say, hey, man, come on, man, get up, man.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And then he got up. She said he got up. Everybody got quiet. She said, it was so quiet in there. She said, it was sitting down in there. She said, it was so many people. So you could hear a mouse pissing on cotton. She says he got up and grabbed a drink and shot the drink up. She said he took the fork or whatever and tapped it against the glass. Ting, 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 ting. I want to make this another announcement. Maybe my fiance didn't hear me well.
Ooh-wee.
I ask you again, and she said she stood up boldly and brassly. I care about you and I love you. My no is no, and my no is final.
Ooh,
and I'm going back to the room to get my things. If some of you men would escort me, some of you men.
She knew she needed escort.
She said, if some of you men will escort me.
Because this was the Hulk.
To my room. Oh, yeah, you that guy. Escort me
to
get my things and take me to the airport. I will be going home to my mother's house and get my things later. Now I asked her. I
wouldn't have been to nobody else I know. He'd have to find me.
I said, what in the world? I thought you guys get along so well. What in the world made you actually tell this man, no, I thought you were going to marry this guy?
Because he wasn't enough for her.
She says, no, listen to this. Now, just that make her wrong. Now, think. He was good to her the way she wanted, but listen, she told me this. She says, at that very moment, listen, because some things don't happen. But see, a very moment, let me explain that very moment. That very moment is an accumulation, you see what I'm saying? Don't nothing happen overnight. But at that very moment, the accumulation popped in her head. She said that very moment, she said when he told everybody, hold on a minute, she said when he put his hand on her, said she knew right then and there he was going to ask her to marry. And she thought to herself, I don't want to be married to this man for the rest of my life. All that time, she said all the years you're dealing with him, she knew right there at that very, very moment, right then, I don't want to be married to this man for the rest of my life. Now, I was startled about the situation. I said, what the hell? I mean, what? She said, I don't know. It's a feeling like, she said, like an electric shock went through my body. No way. And she said, I couldn't say maybe later. She said, I didn't have a smile. I said, no way. No, I would not marry you. And now think about it, because these are people. People are very different individuals. And she said no. And she said they escorted her back to the room. She went back there. She went back to her mother's house. And she said he called 1,000 times on the phone.
But that guy has always loved that woman more than he loved her and she liked him.
Well, the thing, no, listen to me.
I mean, he was just a means to an end in her life.
No, I think
still to this day he is.
Well, the thing about it, she's a very lovely woman, I must admit. She's a very lovely woman.
She all right.
No, she's a lovely woman. And I'm not saying that in defense to say that she shouldn't have married him. I'm not saying that. But she told me, she says, I was saying to myself, stupid, why were you hanging there for so long? I'm not going to marry him. I don't know why I was there. I was used to. And that was amazing to me. She told me, she said, I was used to him. Yeah. And I said, well, you were used to him and you loved him? She said, I don't know if it was love even. See, I had been there so long.
It was like, comfort. It was
hell with it. I mean,
security. What all women want.
So think about it. Was she wrong for outright saying no right then and there? Or
I don't think so.
She had lived a lie and says, yeah, and got the ring right there in front of everybody.
I think she did the right thing.
I do as well.
I do.
I feel
think
as
she
well.
did the right thing. But if you don't love somebody like that, you should never go through the motions just because you in a particular surrounding.
Okay, well, why would you think that? You don't think she should have in front of 75 people?
I wouldn't give a damn if it was 175. If I didn't want to marry him, I ain't gonna marry. Because she knew something that 75 people didn't know. She felt something that they don't have no idea what their interactions were. They on the outside looking in. But as I've learned through my experience, there's 3 sides to every story. Your side, her side, and the truth.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think she ever loved him at all, ever?
I think that she loved him in the beginning, before. Okay, this particular couple, this guy is another one of them situations where you outgrow your mate. He invested in this woman. He did. He invested in her. She wasn't always the prettiest thing. She wasn't always that bad body B. He invested time. He invested. He encouraged her. I mean, he pushed her. He helped her cultivate who she became.
Let me tell you this.
The person that she evolved into.
Hey, excuse us 1 second. I'm finna, because we have 2 friends like this. I'm going to tell her this friend which we know. 2 seconds. I can't tell it. I'm sorry. I can't tell you all who it is. I got to get up and tell her.
Oh,
now,
Lord.
Okay, now, I had you. Because we got another friend like that, too.
We do. And he invested.
Well, but this one here, she's a go-getter. She's a go-getter.
Yeah, she did. She do her own thing.
But I think she carried him more than he carried her.
Now that I know which couple you're talking about, hell no, she wasn't wrong.
Wait, don't marry that. That's the first time. But see, negative. But she had to know. But I mean, he's the kind of person. Well, I'm not gonna say what kind of person. He's like his friend.
He's shady.
Well, okay.
Shade and E. Shade and E.
I can't denounce what she said. Okay, that's a woman's perspective of
she
the matter.
Was so smart not to marry that ninja. Heck no. I thought you were talking about the other couple where he invested.
Oh no.
Now that couple,
that's different.
That still goes to that speaks to our topic though.
That does.
She outgrew him.
She outgrew him a long time ago. But but that one, the other one, now that one, he invested in her continuously, and he loves her way more than she loves. Matter of fact, she don't even like him.
She don't.
But she told him though.
Poor thing, bless his heart.
She look, hold here now. Wait. Now she's told him that. Now you know that. And he cries like a woman.
And I'm not saying
all women
this
cry.
guy is a good guy, y'all. He's a really good guy. When women be talking about ain't no good men out here, they ain't cut these old ratchet women then jack them all up.
He married her and she walked out on him.
Yeah. He took this girl, and you know I love big women. I got big friends. I got some big, beautiful friends. But she was a big girl. Yeah. He took her, you know, he bodybuilder. No, nice looking guy.
Put her in shape.
He put her in shape, and now she's a world-class, award-winning bodybuilder.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm talking about the business.
But the thing about it, she never loved him.
She never loved him. I think she did. No, I'm going to take that back. I think when she was a big girl, she loved him. When she was wearing size 24, she loved him. I swear to you, I think so. When she was wearing a size 24 and in there cooking them grits and shrimp, she loved him then.
Okay, now I love some women at 24 too. That's nice.
But I'm saying that she did love him then, and she loved him through the process when he was, you know, transforming her. She loved him because he was transforming her. She loved what she saw when she looked in that mirror. Mm-hmm. She loved that.
But she loved that. But did she love him?
She loved him in the beginning when she was a big girl. I would say that much. When she was a big girl, I feel like, I hate to say it, he should have left her ass big.
Okay.
He should have left her big, because when he transformed her into you know, G.I. Jane,
That's true.
The reason why she outgrew him
is because there it is.
She outgrew him.
When you outgrow your mate. So do we think now we know him, we know her, but my point is, do we think that she's wrong because she outgrew him though?
I don't think she's wrong for outgrowing him, but I do think she's wrong because she uses him.
Okay, there you go. Now we got to the heart of the matter.
She won't release him.
Well, we understand that, and he's weak.
Right, she won't release him. He is. Okay. He still loves her.
Right.
And she won't release this man. He a good man, but you know what? I hate to say it. He ain't gonna be no good for no damn body else. Because he broken.
But see, that's my point. See, that's my point.
And when you get a person like that, ain't nothing you can do.
But see, the point is,
you can't do nothing with that broken, damaged man.
Understand that. Understand. Because you understand. You know why he's broken, damaged? Because he stayed too long.
He still staying, waiting. He on hold, y'all.
Okay, but listen, that's my point.
Waiting on her to come back and say, "Are you still there?"
But that's my point. See, look, she's outgrown. See, you must know.
She did outgrow him.
And she told him several times in several ways.
She did outgrow him.
What happens when you outgrow your mate? My thing is, and this other couple, which we're talking about, she outgrew him a long time ago, and she said, "I knew when he asked me." I said, no way.
She said no.
She said, no way.
She said no.
She said it with aggression. Oh. And I asked her, I said, why? And I wasn't being funny. I was real curious about it. And she says, you just don't know exactly how he is. See? I said, wait a minute. See? I started laughing. I said, I know how he is. No, you don't know how he is. He is not what you see.
See?
Okay, so that's my thing.
That's different.
I said, well, okay, well.
That's different.
The thing about it, she says, but all this time you waiting for all this time for him to say this in Vegas for you to outright, was she wrong for just doing it?
She didn't know he was going to do that.
But why didn't she, okay.
She didn't know.
Yeah,
she wasn't wrong. I don't think she was wrong at all.
Okay, but what do you say about, why didn't she do this before she took the trip with him?
Because he didn't ask her before. He asked her at that moment. So at that moment, she had a split second to make a decision. And thank you, Jesus, Buddha, and Allah, she made the right one. Sure enough did.
My opinion, she's right. My opinion, she's right on both of those areas. Because the thing about it is that if she didn't do that then.
If I'm telling you, she wouldn't be the woman she is now. She's a very successful black woman.
And moved out of the state.
You know, very successful.
Yeah,
you know, a 6-figure black woman. And I mean, and had she been with that shiesty ninja, she'd have had a link card.
But see my point.
I promise you.
But see my point. You see my point. If she didn't leave that situation, if she stayed there because of faith and loyalty, I should because he loves me.
I think he served the purpose in her life at that time. You know, sometime I have dated people in the past and you know, I stayed longer than I should stay because of how they felt. And I regret that every day of my life.
Because of what? Because of what?
Because of how they felt.
How they felt.
My life is over if I leave you.
Now, what does his life got to do with your life? But you still put your life.
I did. I like put my life on hold because I'm like, I don't want this fool to do nothing to itself. I might as well be dead if you leave me. I'm like, I can't live with that on my conscience at this point.
I once dated this young lady. I liked her a lot at first, and I outgrew her. Don't get me wrong, I outgrew her, and she told me, she says, if you don't stay with me, I'm gonna run out and get hit by a bus. Was driving my car, and I'm telling you.
Oh, I'm sorry for laughing.
This is what I did.
But you know that's a nut, right?
Looky here.
You know that's a nut.
I pulled my car over. I did. Anybody know me know I tell you the truth. I pulled my car over and I said this here. Well, look, you know what? There's about 4 or 5 of them. I don't believe you'll do it. I don't believe you'll do it. I don't believe you'll do it. I stopped, put my car in park, popped the lock.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Prince Dondi, no, you did not.
And all of a sudden, she sat up there and she cried and cried, threw her hair all in the back. Crying and carrying on.
Not the wig. She took the wig.
That was her hair. She threw it all in the back. I dated a lot of women that have real hair. She threw the hair back.
No.
Crying and screaming. I said, look up, man. I don't want the cops to pull me over and say.
They're going to say you beating up.
Why you beating a white woman?
Oh, Lord.
I didn't want that. But my point is, I drove her home. And when I drove her home, I said, okay. And I said, come on, let's go. I'm not going unless you go inside of my house with me. I go in there, and I said, okay, come on. I go in the house. We walk way up the stairs there. Now, she lived in an apartment at the time. And I went into her apartment, and she went into her. She took her shoes off, and she stood up there crying and wrapped her hair up and and crossed her arms up. It was huffing and puffing. I said, get some tea or something. Let's drink something. Get something to eat or something. And she sat there, and she said, I said, look, baby, I said, I got to run to my car. I ran down to my car, and I looked back up at the window. I said, look at here. You know what, baby? I said, I'm going to get on out of here. If you leave, I jump out this window. I jump out. I swear to God, I jump out the window. My last breath, I tell them that you pushed me. This is what she told me.
My.
That's what she said. And you know what I did? I said,
wow.
Well, you just going to have to tell them. And our crew was going off. She didn't jump out the window, but boy, she blew my phone up. She blew my phone up, came over to my apartment, begged my doorman to take upstairs. He didn't do it. Thank God he didn't.
I'm telling you.
Man, she went crazy like that. So my point is that, when you outgrow a person, you just want to get away. Just shake it off. You just want to get away from them. So all the time, you're not wrong a lot of times because you outgrow a person. You're not wrong.
You're not. I just, that other couple that we know, I just feel like she wrong because even though she outgrew him and she knew she outgrew him, she knew when it was happening.
Yeah.
She know when it happened.
Right. Because
she evolved into somebody completely different once he, helped her become a bodybuilder and got her in shape.
Yeah.
But the problem I have with her is still to this day, she uses this brother, and he's a good brother. And it's so many women out here who could benefit from a good brother like him. But because of what she's done and what she's still doing, she won't release him. And he's still stuck like Chuck with his dumb butt.
Well, I would say.
No one is ever going to be able to get any good use out of him, and he's going to be miserable the rest of his damn life.
That's good.
Because he's getting older now.
That's good.
So, our old episode, don't be an old fool.
But the thing about it is that I must, in her defense, see, look, in her defense, love her or hate her, and we know her, and she's all right. But my point is, what I'm saying is, love or hate her, we must admit one thing. Hey, he's not being held at gunpoint.
Well, he weak. I've learned because every man is not an alpha man. He a beta man in every sense of the word.
So
he's soft.
So what we should do is, are you saying what we should do is have compassion because he's like he is?
I have compassion for him because he's slow.
My point, I do again say,
because everything that she's told you and everything that she showed you, anybody who wasn't slow would have been left for the hell alone.
How many of us? Let's be honest with each other, all of us. How many of us have friends? And I'm sure it'd be all of us. How many of us have friends that's in relationships? You say, man, why? Or girl, why? Why do you accept this less than greatness? Why do you? And they'll tell you all 8 ways, 10 ways, 15, 20, 30,000 ways, or ways in which they ought not. But yet they'll still go back to that same old rubbish. Now, the thing about that situation
That's
is that
true.
should we keep break down and cry and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and we watching them do this, and we watching them do this, and we watching them do it's like a drug addict.
It just makes me angry with
It may
him.
make you angry.
It made me
It
angry
may
with
make you,
him for being
well, my point.
so soft like
should
that.
we as a people, as people that know him, should we as people should we make ourselves concerned about the way he feels now?
I
We
don't care.
should. Okay, my point.
Because he had me totally mad at the girl. And then I got to the point where I was like,
you start seeing it.
I saw it. I was like,
point.
okay. Because I was like, why, how could she do this to him?
And you look at it, a lot of things you volunteer. She says,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, you don't have to." Well,
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Don't worry.
And she says, "Look here, I can do it. That's okay. I'll find a way." And he'll just, "Oh, so
absolutely.
She's outgrown him a long time ago. But how many people out here really are going to actually give up the cash cow when the cow is still giving up the milk? I mean, we cannot, we can't put ourselves with concernments because it's making another. If I always say this, and I will say this again today, and I want you all to remember this. If I got to be comfortable for you to be uncomfortable,
okay,
get used to being uncomfortable.
And have the strength to do that, people.
Yeah, but that's a hard. It's easier said than done.
It is, but you got to put self first.
There it is.
You have to.
If you put self first, like that man did when he came there, and when the lady came there to the dinner, he's like, "Man, hey, look here. Okay, here it is. I didn't expect it to go down like this here. I didn't expect to have you at the dinner with this young, but here it is, and I must show up."
You got to put yourself first.
When you show up, I got to show out, and that's what he did.
That's true.
Look, he had either way. He could have said, "Look here, baby, I'm sorry. Take me." He could have said, "Look, baby, take me back. I was wrong and I cheated on you. I'm here with this person here. The person showed me greater things than you showed me, but that's all right. I'm going to go on back home with you and forgive me, and we're going to make love like we never did before. Please forgive me." Now, he could have said that, and he would have been living a lie. But what he didn't do, he didn't back down. He said, "Look here, I've outgrown you."
Well,
Come on now.
In a nutshell, people.
Come on now. Come on.
What do? When they outgrow you or you outgrow them?
What do?
You put your big girl panties on or your big boy boxers.
Yeah.
And you be true to self first.
There it is. Don't do nothing irrational. Don't do nothing crazy. Don't be a fool. Now, even though you want to, deep down inside you want to go off the joint.
Don't. And like the dude was, be calm about it. Yeah. Be a man about it or be a woman about it.
And you'll find someone in your realm. Somebody,
absolutely.
You'll find someone who's in your level. Now, it may take a minute, but somebody's going to be in your level.
Somebody, somewhere. Sometime. There's somebodies for everybody.
So
they say.
Hey, that's true. That's true. Sometimes, look here. Sometimes, and the rest of you out here that's looking for it, let me explain one thing to all you people that's looking for it. You won't find it sometimes when you're looking for it. Sometimes you got to look for it, but a lot of you that's looking for it, some of you don't need to look for it, you already got it, but you don't want to acknowledge it. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to acknowledge, look here, I'm going to tell you. It may not be Mr. Johnson over there rolling that big old Rolls Royce flying around there with the big rims on and sharp. He may not be for you, even though you may want a baller. You may need a janitor. Okay? Broadly truth. And let me tell you something. Some of you out here got a big baller, but if it ain't for you, it ain't gonna last long.
No.
It ain't gonna last long. See, you can get success and you can get love. Now, I'm gonna add love in there too. Sometimes you get success, you get love too soon.
When you ain't ready.
But you never can get it too late.
Yeah.
You never can get it too late, but you can get it too soon. Now, let me explain one more thing. I'm gonna add this to you.
We're nearing the end of our show, Dondi.
All right, I'm gonna say this to you, and I'm gonna leave you alone. The same thing sometimes appear to be a blessing, sometimes can be a curse. Some of you got kids out there, little kids, and you can take your 5-year-old child and give the keys to your brand new car and tell them to go to the store and get a loaf of bread, and that'll be a curse. You see what I'm saying? Take that same kid at 20 years old, throw them keys, and go get a loaf of bread, come on back home, and there it is, everything's smooth. Sometimes it appears to be a blessing and it ain't. So you got to be aware. But when you outgrow that individual, you must know you outgrow them and stand up. Stand up about it when you outgrow them. Stand up. That's all.
Stand on it.
That's all I got to say.
Okay, people, we have come to the end of our show. I would like to say we are part of the NMG Network. If you have comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to call us at 872-307-3828. We have a couple of sponsors that we need to mention. Don's Construction. He can be reached at 708-735-9580. We have Kane's Medical Career Training. If you ever were a CNA or you want to be in CNA, the beautiful Mrs. Walker can help you with that. You can reach her at 773-699-8819 or canesmedicalcareertraining.com, lowercase. I am your girl, Val DeVarreaux, and I hope you have enjoyed our show today. And this is my brother from another mother,
Prince Dondi. How are you?
And I would like to thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe out there, people.
And bless you. And if it ain't broke,
don't fix it.
There it is. Watch out. You see it.
Whoop, there it is.
Catch you next time. Love you all. Peace.
Indeed.